Hey guys and gals, we're here for Casual Gaming with Boomer.
Hey guys.
I haven't really done much Hearthstone, have we? It's kind of, I mean, you know this from Magic the Gathering, right?
Yeah.
Um, the 2 weeks before a new set comes out, you just stop playing.
Yeah, it's even worse in Magic because of course you have the trading to do as well. So it was I remember a really good sort of comic that was on at the time. It was sort of guys like 6 months till rotation. I think I can hold on to these cards for a bit. And then it's like sets rotating in 3 months. I really should think about this. And then it goes to like 6 weeks with his card prices gradually coming down. And then like the final panel is please give me something for my Hell Riders. Yeah. And it happens every single time you see it in Magic. People just hold on to their cards for ages and then they're just worthless once the set rotates.
But
But
you do lose the motivation to play, don't I?
oh, absolutely, because a lot of the motivation for playing, especially for us, was testing new decks, doing new things. And when you're at the end of a format, that doesn't exist anymore. So you're just grinding your ass
Yeah, I
out,
mean, it's
basically.
kind of close to solved, I suppose. I mean, like, I kind of kept my Pally deck to myself for a while, but this last month I sort of released my videos to everyone. So I was like, well, give them a chance to play it because once it rotates, I think the old deck archetypes are just useless completely. They certainly were in Magic.
Yeah, your image has just gone, by the way, just for a second. So
Put me back up, baby.
well, I need you to restart your webcam to do
Oh
that.
no!
So, professional, we're off to a good start here.
Says my video is turned off. Is my video on again?
Your video is now on again. There you are.
Scary
I'll
stuff.
just have to add you back. You see, it's been a while since we've done one of these things, so you have to. You
Maybe I
guys,
blame your internet. You have a new internet. I blame
okay,
that.
blame my new internet that's 8 times as fast as my previous one, and therefore we can actually stream stuff now.
I think everything was faster than your previous one, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
I think a tin can and a piece of string was faster than my previous
I remember you
internet. If I'm
going
going
to.
to be
You used to
honest.
go to work and just leave your computer on to download stuff. It used to take that long, didn't you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the other thing that I have done, because I obviously upload quite a few of the videos for our site, it's like even on my old upload, it was like finish the video at 10 o'clock. If I start uploading it now, it might be ready for the midnight tomorrow release. If it's a 1080p video, it's
Yeah, you
like
used to leave it on all night, and then at 7 in the morning, you used to get up and hopefully it'd be done. You could turn the computer off all day.
yeah,
Anyway, loads of new cards have been spoiled. We didn't want to look at every single one. We've got a load here.
yeah.
Like
We
the
do
ones we've
have a
got is
lot here.
plenty to look through.
Yep.
But we'll do them in alphabetical order as opposed to, power order or something
Yeah.
like that.
Unfortunately, it looks like you've frozen again. We'll wait for that to come back. It's like I'm pretty sure that'll come back at some point. So
Maybe it's at my end.
it's possible. Depends.
But as long as you can hear me, that's enough, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. Everyone loves that, and it's a good picture of you that it's frozen on, so that'll do.
Okay then. Oh. Well, let's just crack on with some of these cards.
Yep.
I believe that the set has very particular rules, so that like every class gets one or two legendaries, two or three, two commons, two rares, stuff like that. So
Yeah.
um, this first card we're going to look at, Anodized Robocorp. This is one of the Druid commons.
Yep.
I'm not quite sure where Druid is going to be yet without seeing all the other cards, but this is very much an anti. Well, it's a very flexible card. I mean,
It is really. Yeah.
like it's deceiving as well.
Yeah.
So you can use it as an anti-control card by obviously making it a 2/3 taunt,
Mhm.
or you can put it in an aggro deck by turning it into a 3/2. So obviously, the advantage of having it as a 2/3. Obviously, it takes out a lot of one drops, all the 2/1s on turn one.
Yep.
On the plus side, you might still see this and sort of Shattered Sun Cleric or this and follow it up with like Mark of the Wild or something like that to have like
Yeah.
5 taunt on turn 3. So you could get like those kind of aggro decks still.
Well, Druid often has the, sort of turn 3 innovate into Druid of the Claw, and that's just another way of making a Druid of the Claw on turn 3, basically, with the whole Mark of the Wild and Robocub. So that's another way of making that sort of big taunter to get Druid into the late game, which is where it thrives.
Um, and it doesn't have Deathrattle, which might turn out to be a plus.
Possibly.
It depends, because there's a few sort of anti-death rattle cards which I think are pretty interesting.
Yes, there are a few.
But I'm not sure what this deck card's going to fit in with so far as the Druid decks, because I think the Druid decks are quite slow and heavy.
Yeah, they're not really into playing 2-drops, are they? For the most
I think they're
part.
more likely to stick with the existing 2 drops of sort of Wrath.
And Wild Growth, really.
Yeah. So but this certainly suggests an aggro card. I think you'll see a fair chunk of play in Arena. I think it's one of the.
It's a decent 2-drop.
It's
And
very,
you're gonna,
very good 2 drop as far as commons go.
Yeah, I mean, it's
2 drop.
obviously better than when you're going to be comparing it to like Bloodfen Raptor and Crocodile, and it's obviously better than both of those. It's better than quite a few of the other 2-drops that you can get as well. So I think you'll be picking it quite.
It'd be interesting to see how that was. Next card we're going to look at Antique Healbot. Well, it's a mech, so.
Yeah. You always have to be careful when evaluating mechs because they have their inert synergy. So they're not going to be as strong as a normal card usually, although some of them are.
Though this one's actually not bad for stuff like the heavy control decks. Like it looks really underwhelming, the fact that it's 5 for a 3/3.
Yeah,
But if you think about in terms of the 8 health.
That's a lot of health. That's lay on hands level healing. That's
Well,
job.
Pally's typically up to now played Holy Light. Well, I mean, I didn't personally, but every other Pally did.
Druid plays Healing Touch, which is probably more sort of...
Yeah, some versions run that, some versions get... It might very well go into sort of Druid, slower Druid decks and slower Pally decks.
Yeah, it's usually a one-off. I think Healing Touch is usually a one-of in some Druid decks. Just that 30th card just to get you out of the range of aggro for a turn or so.
Yeah. So card after that on the list is one of the newer ones to be spoiled. This is the new Pally Legend.
He's not Tyrion for a start, but he is a Pally, and he's actually, if you're a WoW player, he's not who he is on this card either. He's not exactly a Pally anymore, is he? If you follow the WoW story.
Funnily enough, you play the Warlock's new minion is the card who corrupted into the guy into the Lich King.
Yeah.
So you've got, I think, Mal'Ganis, is it? I think. I'm trying to remember which one it was, but yeah. So there is a Warlock particular their legendary card, which I don't think we've got here to look at today, is the one who put
the Dragon Curse on Volvar. So yeah.
No, the previous guy, not Volvar, the other one, Arthus.
Oh, Arthas, yeah.
Yeah, the one who cursed led him towards Frostmourne. Anyway,
that's Mal'Ganis. Yeah, Mal'Ganis did that.
The World of Warcraft, like the lore, is just so deep and ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bolvar, I don't think this is a good card.
No. I mean, it's one of those things where, yes, Pally can have those sort of... Pally looks on paper like it wants to make like the bunch of 1/1s, throw them in and gain value from it.
Yeah.
But you need a lot to go your way for this to work. Number one, you're going to have to get stuck with a 5-drop in your hand. And then you're going to have to make all your minions have them die. And then, fine, you'll get a guy who might be as big as a Frostwolf Warlord.
who's basically bigger than, a tiger, really.
Yeah,
Um, I think he needed an extra one on the ass here.
be a 1/8.
I can't see myself playing it. It's you draw it. The thing is, when you draw it, it's basically going to be like a 2/7 because you're going to have a little silver hen recruit that will die.
Yeah, I mean that's the problem, isn't it? It's the fact that this, especially when you're in top deck wars, which often you can be when you're playing Pally, top decking this is just hideous.
Yeah, he doesn't
It's
really
like,
break the game. It doesn't feel like you play him. You go, haha, I have won.
yeah, it's like, if you play a Sylvanas off the top or something like that, you're like your opponent's
Tyrion,
like, or
Tyrion, you play
Tyrion,
Tyrion.
yeah, like
Like bam, 8 mana, lots of stuff going on for that 8 mana. You feel like value has happened,
yeah,
but this guy's just, meh.
yeah,
Meh.
meh.
Yeah, so I think we've talked all about him as we can. Now, this next card,
I mean, we had the fact that you were like, Pally needs more creatures. They're like, have some creatures, like not that creature.
this next card is again like Crap Yeti.
Yep, Burly Rockjaw Trog. Good name.
Your opponent is never going to play a spell if it's when this card is in play.
Unless
It's
it's
never going to happen, yeah.
unless it's Fireball or
Unless it's going to
Polymorph.
kill the
Yeah,
Trog.
yeah. Unless it's
That's basically it. It's like the Trog will briefly turn from a 3/5 into a 5/5 and then take 6 to the face.
yeah, or turn into a
That's
sheep. Yeah,
or become, or end up with 1 toughness before getting hit by a silver hand recruit.
yeah,
It's like it's stuff that will happen to this card is like equality, fireball, polymorph, hex. There's just no spell your
lava
opponent's going
burst.
to point
Yeah.
that is turning this into a 5/5 and keeping it in play. So just play Yeti.
Yeah.
Really is the answer to that one. And 3/5 just means, Shadow Word Pain as well. It's like, oh.
Yep.
Call Pet, speculative garbage in general.
Yeah.
Sure, you can have a turn 3, like
high main
I mean, if you're like ridiculously lucky,
and have the coin. It's that.
or a turn 3 Gazriel. That's 7 mana. Yeah, that's the card we're going to look at a bit later. But most of the time, I mean, it's not terrible if you draw a 2-drop beast off it because it's just like, oh, it's free, so I just play that instead,
Well,
right?
a 4-drop beast is free. Isn't
Yeah,
it, as well?
yeah. But that's what I mean. So you're gonna have your 2-drop beasts in there, like your spiders.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get rid of them because they're still good cards. And unfortunately, your 3-drop slot is pretty much no beasts.
Yeah. I mean, it's Animal Companion. Isn't
Exactly.
it?
It's
So,
a spell. It's not a beast.
yeah. I mean, the thing with this as well is that there's no. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's any way currently to manipulate your library in Hearthstone.
It likes random.
Yeah.
They do random.
It's like if there was a way, say there was a card that was like draw 1 card, put 1 back on top of your library or something like that, then this might start seeing playing some sort of combo to get a ridiculously fast high main out or something like that.
Or or a turn 2 King Muckler.
Yeah, or if tracking said, if there was like a version of tracking which was look at the top 3, draw 1, discard 1, and put 1 on top of your library. That sort of thing would potentially make a card like this playable. But when you don't have this, when you don't have the ability to manipulate the top of your library, these sorts of cards go way down in value. It happened in Hex as well as Hearthstone because Angel of Dawn is not as powerful in Hex as it would be in a game where you can manipulate the top of your library.
Yep. Now, the next card we're looking at is terrible.
Yeah.
One of the worst cards you will ever see, and we all know why.
Randomius.
When your opponent plays it, it will do 6 damage.
When you play it, it will do 3 damage. Yeah.
So you see any minion that's got 4, 5, 6 toughness.
You aim this
You
at
you
it,
can't
it
you
isn't
can't
dying.
point this card at it. It's just not possible. You know. You can't take that chance. It's you're gonna stick with lightning bolt here.
Yeah, it's like, and if you're not gonna, if you're not gonna take that chance, then you're just better off with lightning bolt because it costs 1 less. So yeah, I'm not a fan of this card. It's what you are right though. It's like whenever your opponent casts it against you in arena, you know that your water elemental's dying. It's like every time. Right, next card.
Is Super Blessing of Kings.
Well, it's
very flexible card.
It's Demon Fire just buffed up, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a very flexible card. I think might see a cheeky bit of play. You certainly pick it in arena.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, most of the epics in arena are actually terrible. So if you saw this,
barring the giants, cool.
It depends what.
Actually, a lot of the warlock epics are actually surprisingly playable because you've got
you've got the tap ability.
Yeah, you've got this. You've got the 6 casting cost, kill that, gain 3 life card.
Siphon Soul, yeah.
Siphon Soul.
That's rare. That's rare Siphon Soul, I think.
Are you sure about that?
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Siphon
Soul. Could be
rare.
Okay. What's the epic one? What's the epic? There is a good epic.
Twisted Nether kills everything.
Yeah, that's it's not really a good card for arena. I suppose it could be. Yeah. Anyway, we're getting off topic there a little thing. I think it's fine because it's flexible. It takes out something big.
Or it just
I think it's what you'll use it for most of the time. It's
you'll use it for
kill
killing
their Stranglethorn Tiger or something like that.
Yeti or something like that. Yeah, just kill it and you'll be okay. Next, it's a druid.
Again, this is another one of these weird situations where druid really doesn't do beasts. However, they have said that Druid of the Claw.
Are they going to errata it to be a beast?
Yeah, they're going to errata that to be a beast. And there was another card as well. The 3/2, the 2-drop that either gives +1 or creates a 3/2.
I know which one you mean.
Yeah, that's going to be a beast. I'm not sure if it already is.
It's a panther, isn't it, that it creates? Yeah. So I imagine that's a beast.
Yeah, but there's another card anyway, which is currently not a beast, but will be a beast.
Okay, fair enough.
For druids, to help them out here. Again, you need a fairly beast-heavy deck, and it feels like turns 2, 3, and 4, if you play a beast, your opponent probably focus on killing it.
Yeah.
If this becomes a card, I think, if this becomes a card and the deck becomes a good deck, then it'll be a victim of its own success, as you will play beasts on turn 2 and 3 and 4, and your opponent will do their darndest to kill them.
Yeah.
Because like a 7/7 on turn 5, or potentially
turn
3 with an innovate or something like that, or with a wild growth or something like that, is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And possibly just game winning.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how they fix it.
I think that if it does become a thing, I think you'll start seeing Big Game Hunter again.
You might see druids playing like that beast that has stealth, just tiger, going to have a beast.
Yeah, here's my tiger.
The crap smaller one, the 4/2 for 3.
Oh, Jungle Panther.
Yeah. Unlikely, but
like, do you have Consecrate? If not, I have a 7/7.
Yeah, but Druid of Fang seems pretty game breaking in the sort of the fast, aggressive.
It's like if they do errata it to give Druid enough access to beasts, it could be very powerful indeed. And it's common as well, so it's yet another like really powerful common that druids might be able to pick up.
This next card's actually going to be, I think, pretty game-breaking in Arena.
5/4 Wind Fury. Jeez. Yeah. I mean,
I mean, this is one of those things where, like, Arena's about board control, right?
yeah.
So, if you're playing as a chamois and you get the board control fairly early, and you dump this out sort of turn 4, and your opponent's only play is to, make a guy and pass the turn. It feels like then if you have any kind of removal spell at all,
You just win. Yeah.
I mean, even if you hex, so you go like, well, I'll hex your guy, and then I'll attack your hexed guy.
Yeah.
And there's 50% chance of you attacking your face, just ignoring
Your
the
taunt, yeah.
and attacking his face. And if obviously it kills a hex guy, meh, whatever, but you still get another attack anyway.
Yeah.
But it feels like, when you get the board control fairly early in Arena, he just ends the games.
Yeah, super
Right? He's just like
fast.
10, 10.
Yeah.
Nice playing you. Yeah, well played. So you might play him and then hide behind a couple of wolves with taunt.
Yep.
And then try and focus on keeping his board clear and just sending him in for 10. There's nothing your opponent can do about it.
I mean, the one upside of it is that he is rare, so you're not going to see too many of them in Arena. It's like if he was common, that would be a real...
Yeah, but if you don't have a removal spell, I think you just die to that guy quite a few times.
Yeah.
Especially even if like your only guy you've got is a 3/3 or something, you just go, okay, hit it and hit you again afterwards, and maybe have a healing spell. So there's loads of ways around it. But
or a healing totem, because they roll whatever totem they need.
Okay, well, next card again, a relatively newer one, Feign Death.
Yep. Trigger all
Now-
death rattles.
This says to me that they put serious thoughts into Deathrattle as a mechanic, and we're going to be seeing. I mean, we've already seen some pretty powerful Deathrattle cards, like with the Shredders.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Like the 6 mana, make a 6/4. When it dies, I get a random 4-drop.
Yeah.
So there's lots of reasons to play stuff with Deathrattle. So they
Here's
had to
another.
make a few cards that worked with Deathrattle, and there's a few sort of anti-Deathrattle cards. So it's almost like they're just creating this invisible meta.
Yeah, death rattle matter. Now we've already seen like a couple of options, like with Shaman. Well, with Shaman.
Well, this is a hunter-specific card.
Exactly,
so,
but
Shaman.
Shaman had Reincarnate from Curse of Naxxramas. And it works in a different way, because obviously Reincarnate returns your creature to full health as well. And it
then
also does
original effects it had, like if it started with stealth, it has stealth again.
Yeah. And it does ridiculous things with Kel'Thuzad and things like that. But Feign Death is a lot more about... I mean, you can just imagine... The thing is, in my mind, I'm thinking the Reincarnate deck for me seems to be one that when it gets ahead, it just buries you, because it wins, when it wins huge. It like fills the board. It gets like a Kel'Thuzad and a Sylvanas, Reincarnates Sylvanas, steals your guy, beats you up, gets another Sylvanas off Kel'Thuzad, and it's like, yeah, well, that was a good game, wasn't it? Whereas I think Feign Death could probably be used a little bit for value, more than as a sort of, I'm just going to bury you completely. It's more so, well, I'll just create a few 2/2s, or I'll...
Well, you might play the Shredders and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you can use a 2 mana, get a 4 power guy.
And there might be a few more mechs with Deathrattle and things like that.
Yeah, high main, make some dudes,
Yeah, and Cairn.
Cairn, make a Cairn.
Sylvanas, obviously.
Yeah. So it's like maybe a more sort of because there have been control hunter decks in the past, so
Yeah.
this could certainly be going. This would be a card that I would put more towards that end, and it'd be a way of saying, right, I'm ahead, I get
I'm
you.
not sure it's entirely control. I think it's sort of mid-range. I think it's a
Possibly, yeah.
value hunter deck.
Yeah,
It's just a card. It's a card that's just trying to play value minions and outvalue their opponents. And
yeah,
the games go long, but you've also still got that pressure of the steady shot every turn
yeah,
on your
exactly.
opponent. So it feels like um, another card for Undertaker.
Yeah. As if we needed any more cards for Undertaker. So I think that can definitely see some play.
I think it's fair. It could be played in a fairly aggressive deck as well, but
Yeah.
we shall see. Anyway,
Next is Fell Cannon. At the end
looks
of,
nice.
it does to me as well. At the end of your turn,
Yeah.
deal 2 damage to a non-mech minion. That's 2 damage of your choice, isn't
Includes
it?
yours,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
immediately says there's probably a Warlock mech deck there somewhere, which I actually think makes the most sense so far as all the mech decks go, because it is just like play cheap guys and keep your hand full.
Yeah. I mean,
This
for
is
me,
what
it's like
Warlock's good at.
look at this and then compare it to Demolisher and tell me which one's the better card.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it can hit your side of the board, but it's at the end of your turn as opposed to your opponent's.
yeah, and you're also in control of where it goes. So you can almost treat this as sort of a 4-mana 3/5 when it comes into play. Deal 2 to a creature, sort of thing, because you're going to control where that first shot goes.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to play it if you have minions.
Yeah, it's like if you're going to kill one of your own guys, you're not going to play it. But it's a case then of where your opponent then has to make the decision. Well, do I make a guy who's going to get shot for 2 again next turn? Or do I wait and try and make his Fell Cannon kill one of his own guys? So it's going to create this sort of I can see it definitely creating standoffs, because it's a case where if, let's say he goes, right, you can't make a 5/5 after this because it'll trade for his 2-drop. As he's got a 3-power 2-drop, he rams it into your 5/5, and then the Fell Cannon finishes it off, and then he makes a 5-drop on top of it, or something similar like that, if he's got another mech.
Anyway,
So,
this is all potential. We'll see how it all plays out there. But I like this card.
yeah, I like the look of it.
Then we have the Faux Reaper
Faux Reaper 4000.
which comes from Southern America.
Yeah.
It's clearly got that, yokel look to it,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. I don't know if that's the right term.
Is he the redneck of all men?
Yeah, it's the Redneck Reaper. Redneck Reaper, that's what they should have called him. It's just a body, really. The 6 power kind of helps it.
The 6 power's nice on it. The fact that it can't get killed by big game hunter. The fact that it smacks everything.
Yeah, it destroys boards if it gets to attack. It just... If you have 3 guys, they're all dead.
Yeah.
And it gets, it has to attack the one... It has to attack the one in the middle, which makes it really important to get the placement of your minions correct.
Yeah, it's like what you want to do is put a taunt on the side. Put your smallest guy next to it so that you can keep your guy alive.
Mm-hmm.
I think
or if you can't do that, at least put your biggest guy in the middle, so he has to attack that if he wants to kill the other stuff, because it's more likely he would then be forced to attack the one on the edge just so he can do a lot of damage to the one in the middle without taking much damage back.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's a real powerhouse. I think this, but he's got a lot of competition.
It's competing. It's competing for a lot in the 8-mana slot.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Raggy there.
The fact that he's just a guy. I mean, that's the thing.
He doesn't have the immediate effect, does he?
He doesn't come into play and do something devastating instantly.
Yeah, he doesn't attack for 9 or deal 8 instantly.
I mean, I think this next card we're going to look at, Gazarilla, is probably
Gashrila.
is probably very useful for hunters.
Yeah. I am actually, when I first saw this card, I was like, thank God that card doesn't belong to Warrior. Because that'd just be a one-hit kill.
Yeah.
in Warrior.
But there's probably going to be a few.
Because it'd just be a case of like, if you get a turn with that in play, it's just Taskmaster it and a rage it.
You might see some hunters playing with like explosive sheep and stuff like that instead of explosive trap.
Just to try and deal two to it.
Yeah, but it's just a case, the sheep's in play, and during your turn, you play Gazrilla and run the sheep into something.
That'd actually be lethal, wouldn't it, thinking about it? Cruel Taskmaster in a rage on this would be lethal. If you were able to do it.
Yeah, if you did the Cruel Taskmaster first.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think whether it adds the 2 power before or after it doubles. Okay, so Taskmaster says, does it say +2 and deal 1 damage, or does it say deal 1 damage and give +2?
I don't actually know.
That would be the important thing. So if it deals the damage first,
it would only go to 14.
Double to 12 and then add 2 to 14. If it was the other way around, then obviously it goes to 16.
And then the inner rage doubles
and then
it again, and it's
the
a
second
one-hit kill. Yeah.
So yeah.
It's like, thank God this isn't neutral or warrior, basically, because
things that will never happen, unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, warrior could potentially copy it
using faceless manipulator.
Yeah. But that's rare.
But again, he's 6'9", so he's not vulnerable to big game hunter. I think it's a
good 7-drop. Yep. Because Hunter was lacking a 7-drop, and
he's a beast as well. Just for
I think he'll get played. It's a card you play, and if your opponent doesn't kill it, it's very painful very quickly.
Yeah, he's also you'll get him off a web spinner occasionally as well, just for.
Then we have the
value.
Goblin Auto Barber. It's a mech.
Yeah, it's a 3/2. For 2, which is fine. It's
goes into Pally probably more than anything, because we've seen previously. We looked at the Call to Arms for Paladin, which is 3. Oh, sorry, it's coming up.
It was the Cogsaw we looked at, wasn't it? For Paladin, that 2/3 weapon that Divine Shield.
Call for Arms is like a Magic the Gathering card.
Yes, it is.
So there's an equivalent that we're going to look at, and we're going to skip forward to it now. So you want to go forward 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 cards, briefly.
Yeah, it is. This one, it's Muster for Battle.
Muster for Battle, and it gives you a 1/4 weapon. So it feels like turning your 1/4 weapon into a 2/4 weapon.
Is quite powerful.
He's quite good.
Yeah, there's also, I mean, to be honest, that does. If we just come back to the mech at this point, if we just go back to it, it's even Light's Justice. It's like you can. It's a bit wombo combo because you can't guarantee drawing both of them, but I can certainly see an arena having like a couple of Light's Justices, a couple of these, and just making
generally
your 2/4
in the
weapon.
past having one Light's Justice was okay. Like. Just having one, I certainly found times when it was nice because you could attack a 3/2 and finish it off with 1/1, stuff like that. So this turns your Light Justice into like a sizable guy. I don't really want to do it so much on a True Silver Champion. It doesn't really affect that as much.
It makes True Silver kill Yeti, but that's about all it does.
But it's not as essential as turning a 1/4 into a 2/4. Like that's So it feels like in conjunction with Muster for Battle, that's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And so if you had like some kind of fast deck with like Knife Juggler and then Muster for Battle, shoot 3 things out, and like next turn play the Goblin Auto Barber, hit stuff for 2. It feels like Paladin's getting a bit more aggressive, which is what it lacked for some time.
What was the other one that we? Oh yeah, Cult Master. If you 3/1/1 survive, you've got that option as well.
Yeah, and the turn after you play the Muster for Battle. Certainly, if you've got the control of the board, it's like if you consider playing a Cult Master or something and filling your hand back up and playing more fast guys out.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. The next card we have is Goblin Sapper.
It's crap.
Yeah.
It's like it's a metagame card. You know, if all of a sudden Handlock is the best deck going, then everyone will start playing two Goblin Sappers.
But then again, there's a slight problem against Handlock in that it has 4 toughness. So it's like
Yeah.
Soul Power, Soul Fire kills it, and it probably gets the Handlock below 6 cards as well. So your next Goblin Sapper's garbage. Having said that though, it's 2/4. The actual stats aren't terrible for a 3
It's not
drop.
bad. Yeah. I
But
think that's what they had to do. They had to make it at least slightly playable.
yeah, I mean, there's also
But you can have a 3/4 for 3 now.
yeah, you can. Everyone's got a
You know,
3/4 for 3, haven't they? Now?
it's a mech as well.
Yeah,
So I feel like you'd rather use the 3/4 for 3 mech than that, really. And certainly priests would rather use their version.
yep. Okay, the next card is the Illuminator.
Go on.
If you control a secret at the end of your turn, restore 4 health to your hero, and it's a 2/4 for 3.
The one deck that used to beat the crap out of my Paladin control deck was always Secret Mage.
Yeah.
And I've got a feeling Secret Mage won't go away. I've got this thought in the back of my mind that they're going to get another secret.
Yeah.
I don't know why I think that, but I still have a soft spot for Secret Mage.
Yeah, I mean, they just do the whole, like, duplicating sludge belchers, don't they? That sort of thing is what they do now.
Yeah. So, you know, I'm not sure if there's room for Illuminator in that. I mean, there's no reason you'd ever play Illuminator in anything other than Secret Mage.
Correct, yeah.
Like, Hunter goes, nah.
I don't want a 2/4 for 3.
And every single Paladin secret's utterly gash,
Yeah,
so you'd never even look at that.
Yep.
Mage is really
That's where secrets
the only
are
place.
if you're gonna play 'em, yeah.
Yeah, but so I don't see it having much influence really. Like gaining life has never been as brutal as dealing damage.
Nope.
Iron Sensei, he has 2 fingers and
He
a
does
thumb.
indeed, yep. And at the end of your turn, give another friendly mech +2/+2
So basically, he comes in for 3 mana,
as a 2/2.
gives something +2/+2, then dies.
Then dies. Yeah, exactly.
So you're hoping for a 2-for-1 in that respect. It's like turn my other mech into a bigger guy, and then hopefully your 2/2 trades with like their spell or their 3/2, something like that. If left unchecked for even a turn, it's brutal.
Yeah.
Like at the moment it gives +4.
It's the moment you win.
You know, if you go like Harvest Golem, which will be a mech.
Yeah.
Or Demolition might be a mech. I don't know. It's I've no idea on all the stuff.
It feels like a mech, doesn't it?
But it might just stay as like a machine or of a different, you know, like a mount of type really. But I'm trying to think of like
War Golem or something. Make that even bigger.
I think War Golem's actually going to stay a golem, in other words, because it's made of mud and metal. It's like a lump of metal, isn't it? It's like a blob that forms into the War Golem. I don't think that will under the WoW world would be a mech. But yeah, there is.
There are ideas for turning things into
there's some sizable mechs.
Yeah.
And this might very well go into a mech deck. But I think it'll be like an aggressive mech deck, one where you try and keep the board clean. You just go, please don't kill it, please don't kill it.
Yeah. And then if they don't, you go, yos. And you win.
So if you could hide him behind some taunts or something.
Yeah.
But I think it'll have more of an impact in arena than anything. Like in arena, it feels like your opponent's less likely to have an answer straight away.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen 2/2s stick around for 6 or 7 turns. I mean, one of my arena videos, I made like a little schmo, like turn 1, stuck Blessing of Wisdom on him. And he was still drawing me cards 7 turns later.
Yeah, wasn't there one video that he did? Didn't your opponent make like a pint-sized summoner or something, and it was still there 6 turns later or something?
It can happen. It can just work out that way because you're just making guys, and their guys are trading with your guys each time. So
yeah,
But it's whether in Arena you can draft enough mechs, because the card pool is going to be filtered down so heavily that it's just going to be another one of those. Well, I can't really afford to take mech specific cards.
Mm.
If you're faced with this or um, I'm trying to think of a really good example, like an Azor Drake.
Yeah.
You're just going to go, well, I'll take the Azor Drake because it's value.
Yep.
Anyway,
Next up, we've got Little Exorcist.
again, so we've already looked at this concept of battle cry as a metagame concept, so there's going to be lots of value to be gotten from battle cry, and so because of that, potentially late game, are you like paying 3 mana and making a 5/6 with taunt?
Potentially, yeah.
Um, I don't know. Even if it just gets +1,
It's
that
above the
seems
curse. It's a
fine.
3/4 with taunt for 3. That seems absolutely fine.
So I guess what it comes down to is how many of your opponents. I think this is possibly a pally card more than anything.
I think the thing is, at the moment, it's like everyone's playing
Yeah,
Deathrattle
how
cards.
many of your opponents will have Deathrattle cards in
Well,
the decks they build?
you're going to have any deck that has Undertaker in is going to have at least 10. So,
But it's more whether mechs are viable as because I haven't seen. There's a few mechs with Deathrattle, but the mechs just seem to buff each other up.
yeah, it's a
So it's
synergistic
whether
thing.
the mech deck is fast enough that you can't afford to have this in as a 2/3 for 3
No,
against a
that's
fast
just,
deck,
no,
right?
you just get run over.
So against mechs, it's just like, yeah, he's just going to run me over if I play this. If the mech deck turns out to be that good.
Yeah.
So that's what balances the meta game. But interesting. I leave my thoughts open on that one.
Next up, we have Mech Bear Cat.
Not a beast,
Not a beast, but a
despite
mech.
having the name of two beasts in. It's got the name of two beasts and only one mech in its title, yet is a mech.
And it's a druid card as well, which makes it even more confusing.
They could have given it a double subtype.
Just being a beast
A
mech.
beast and a mech. I think that would have been legitimate for this card.
Yeah. Oh, whenever it takes damage, add a spare part card to your
Again,
hand.
you're going to pick this up in Arena a lot.
I mean, it's a
6 mana.
6 mana 7/6.
6 mana, 7/6. It's going to draw you 2 spare cards.
Yeah, it's
Cards, typically.
I mean, you're never going to have the choice of this or Boulder Fist, are you? So it's but Boulder Fist is a
Boulder
super
Fish is
high
fine.
pick,
Yeah. So
and
this will be fine.
yeah.
It's a fine card. It's not an amazing card. It's just fine.
Would it be better as a 6/6 maybe?
No, you don't really have to worry about big game hunter so much in Arena.
Yeah,
but
true.
I don't think it'll see much constructed play at all. But you will be taking them in Arena, that's for sure.
Yeah. Now, we've visited this card before, but I have actually I've named this as my card Mustafa Batter. So obviously I was hankering for fish and chips or something like that. But it's Mustafa Battle.
As long as it wasn't Mustafa Rattle,
Yeah.
because we don't like death rattle in Paladins. We don't like stuff coming back from dead. Stuff needs to stay dead.
Yeah.
Like we put it in the ground, damn it, you're gonna stay there. Mustafa cattle. There you go. You need some food.
Need some Kobe beef.
meat
Yeah.
to go with your batter. It feels like okay. I think that's going to be the comment section for the day. It's like, what should this card be renamed to?
Yeah.
You could even go like custard for battle if you want to stretch it that far. So let's stop that before. So fine card, interacts quite well with a lot of existing Paladin cards. So you get to put 3 guys into play, and then you create a 1/4 weapon. Now, we have had a ruling on this that says if you have Sword of Justice already in play, it makes a 3/1/1s, turns them all to 2/2s, and then gives you the 1/4 afterwards.
So it's like
Replaces whatever charge is left on your Sword of Justice.
value explosion.
But obviously, you know, as we've already talked about, Knife Juggler is the main use. So it feels like it's in some sort of aggro Paladin deck. You might well play Blessing of Might in the same deck. It's like turn a 1/1 into a 4/1.
Kind of like the old Shockadin deck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, empty your hand like really quickly and then fill it back up with either a Cult Master or
Divine Favor or something.
So Paladin up until now only really had the one choice of going down the route of being controlled. It couldn't really do the aggro thing. So maybe this card. I mean, you can kind of see how they wanted to make it also interact with like Bolvar.
Yeah.
Make lots of guys,
Get
throw them
all
at your
killed.
opponent and play a big Bolvar, but I don't think Bolvar's good enough.
Classic Pally, you know, I'm good for the light, get in there and die.
Yeah, yeah. But what worries me the most is how like a silver hand recruit trades with a sheep.
Yeah, it's like they're not very well trained, are they?
It's like, so you die to a sheep. It was a fierce sheep. It had
It's like-
horns.
It's like, that's the best you can do, is it?
Like, what are you doing? Like, sheep goes, you know, can you imagine them running away? Like, it's a sheep.
But it might
Save
explode.
us.
Yeah. That's the thing, an exploding sheep just wipes out a board full of silver.
It should be 1/2s. 1/2s, definitely. Anyhow,
Next up is Ogre Ninja. Otherwise,
the concept of this card and the lore behind this card is hilarious.
is he two-headed again, like the
Yeah,
Mage?
he's two-headed. So basically, you tell one of the heads to go attack that, and half of the time the other head goes,
No.
I'm attacking this. So you only control one of the heads. That's the idea.
This way. No, that way.
Yeah, it's one of your favorite quotes, right?
Yeah.
But I think it's an amazing card.
I mean, it's a 6/6 for 5. I mean,
And it's got stealth.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
you can just sit it in stealth until that moment you get to beat something up. Like, because you're playing rogue, so like that's quite easy. You could probably just sit it in stealth, pay 5 mana, like stick a bunch of cold bloods on it, and then at some point your opponent's board will be clear,
and then
you go 14.
yeah, be like another Edwin, you know, just the whole.
Yeah, it feels like I really like this card.
I mean, it's huge
I mean,
for
I
its
really
stats,
like
you
the
know.
tiger. Yeah, I mean, I actually don't care if you don't hit the person with this. It's like, oh no, I've just beat up whatever the hell you just played on turn 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't bother me. It's like, what? That's fine. Consider your guy dead. It feels like it's fairly close to always a 2-for-1. It's basically better, I think, than paying 5 mana for the 7/6.
For the Venture Co.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, I think he's better than Venture Co.
So I
Which
really
says
like.
a lot, you know, because Venture Co's pretty good.
The only time the ninja is bad, this ninja is bad, is when you're on the defensive and you really need to attack something to get it off the board. Then there's a 50% chance of boning you. But other than that, I think in, you know, the fast tempo rogue decks that you see in Arena, yeah, you're just going, yep, playing him.
Yep, I think so, absolutely. Next up, we have Sabotage. Destroy a random enemy minion, combo, and your opponent's weapon.
So again, this is going to be in the sort of aggressive rogue decks where they don't really have much out. So you're always going to be able to kill whatever it is you need to kill. But I don't see you getting that much play. But
No, I mean, I don't like the idea of killing a rat. I mean, but it's a bad... what's the hunter card? Deadly Shot. It's like it's a bad deadly shot, and then its combo is only useful against 3 classes.
But
So
it all depends on whether those three classes become really popular.
I mean, you think it's like against warrior control. If warrior control has like the big one sort of threat thing, and you can kill that, and if he has like a
You
weapon
can
out as
also
well.
obviously use it in conjunction with that card that gives both players a weapon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh shit! I gave you a good weapon. Kill it.
Yeah. If you don't have.
It's just another. I mean, to be honest, it's another sort of way to deal with a weapon, isn't it? Because there aren't that many ways. You've got acidic swampoos and Harrison, so you know it's added to a very sort of rare breed of cards that can actually kill a weapon.
Anyway, we're getting close towards the hour mark. We've still got 6 cards to look at, so
Let's get
so
a
yeah,
move on.
I don't see it getting that much play, but you never know.
Yeah.
Again, we talked about the Deathrattle meta,
Yeah, and this is Scarlet
and
Purifier.
and this is a card that I think stands on its own for Pallies. They don't have too much going on turn 3.
So you're happy with this guy, yeah? Because we know that you want your pally dude.
I'd like to see a little bit more aggression from Pallies, so this fits in.
Yep.
3 for a 4/3.
Seems pretty good. Same level as Kirin Tor Mage for mages.
Trades with 3/2s, which is sad, but
It is.
very nice battle cry.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it will trigger a lot of battle cries for your opponent, give your opponent a lot of 1/1 creepers. But
That's actually a good thing, to be honest, because you might already have a guy, you might have like a 3/2, and you can run your guy into their spider as well,
Yeah.
straight afterwards. So it might not be like as brutal.
yeah.
But yeah, if everyone's playing death rattles, then this becomes more of a thing. Especially so if, I mean, you might just use it in conjunction with like equality or something.
Yeah, that
Like
would
equality purifier as a sort of a consecrate, mini consecrate. If like death rattle becomes this huge thing.
Yeah, which I can't see it not being, to tell you the truth, because Death
There's a lot of death rattle cards I want to be playing in the new set.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Next up, we have one of my favourite names, Screwjank Clunker.
I think it's good.
Yeah, I mean, give a friend. Can it target itself?
No, it can't target itself. No battlecry can ever target itself.
Boo
You asked
hiss.
this on the last video as well. Obviously, can't target themselves, but put it on a harvest golem,
Or put it on the 3/4 for 3.
and you're laughing, really. So it's fine.
Yeah.
And with all the other mech stuff that's going on, the pretty weak body of it being a 2/5 might actually not turn out to be that bad.
Yeah, this is the one that you target if your guy that gives +2/+2 lives. It's like you make that guy on 3, and if he survives, you make this guy buff up something else and buff this back
Again,
up
that
as
would be
well,
quite difficult. The Screwjank Clunker looks like being a warrior card. It looks like it's got there. And this is, of course, a mage card.
This coming up is a mage card, yep. Snow Chugger, otherwise known as the mini water elemental.
Won't be as brutal, obviously, because it'll just get lightning bolted and everything. But
it is a mech as well.
Yeah, but it might possibly see a little bit of play. But I think like generally mage cards they'll probably stick. Unless they're going for a particular mech deck for mages, they're gonna stick to Frostbolts.
Yeah, I mean this guy isn't terrible, and isn't that 3 mana gives +2/+2 at the end of every turn? Isn't that one isn't that universal?
Yeah.
So with this guy, you do have a Yeti.
Maybe in some kind of freeze mage deck where you're just trying to stop your opponent from attacking. It's like my guy just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
While I freeze your stuff to stop them from attacking your sensei.
Yeah. So I think this guy's fine as a 2-drop, absolutely fine. Just it might make things a little bit annoying for Pally early on because you can't true silver it early in the game.
Yeah, we shall see how it all develops. Next card we're going to look at again.
Steam Weedle Sniper.
It's just a fine card.
Yeah.
Initially, the first time you see it, you're like, "Wow, that's really good." I mean, legitimately, you go, "Wow, this is a really good card," and then you think about it more, and you go, this guy has a target on its head.
Yeah, this guy's dead.
The instant you play it, your opponent goes, yeah, that's not living next turn. So enjoy your 2 damage.
Yeah.
So it feels like its actual casting cost is 4 mana
Because you want to play it and shoot something.
for a 2/3 that deals 2 damage. If it sticks, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But if your opponent can't kill a 2/3, there's probably an awful lot he can't do, and you're probably going to beat him anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the ability to deal 2 damage to anything, that ability is... I mean, everyone gets annoyed at how good Mage's ability is. It's like, try a Hunter with double the power.
It feels like potentially it can destroy people in Arena, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
You have something like a Sludge Belcher out, and this just sat behind it. It's like, yeah.
Well, it just gives you... what's the Priest ability? Shadow form.
Mm-hmm,
It basically gives the Hunter shadow form, but it costs 1 less mana. It costs it 1 less mana, and it comes with a 2/3 body.
Okay. So
next we have Toshli.
So he's got Battlecry and Deathrattle.
Add a spare
fairly unimpressive. I'd rather play one of the 6/4s, to be honest, for 6.
Or Sylvanas if you're going to play a legendary.
Yeah, or Cairn.
Yeah.
Like Cairn is better. I'd rather have a... Yeah, I mean, 5/7's a good body. But it'll be interesting to see. I don't think it'll have too much impact, but, it could be proved wrong. Like, a couple of secret spare parts are really good. Like, the +1 toughness is really good.
Isn't there a spell power one as well?
Yeah, and there's like a stealth one, and a bounce back to hand one.
Okay. And we have our final one of the night, and that is Whirling Zap-O-Matic.
Chamois has a lot of randomness going on about it, and this is probably one of the few not random Chamois cards.
Yeah, and again, buff Mech as well on this. That feels like you deal with this or it's game over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We already know that Chamois has access to a lot of buff cards as well.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Chamois has this, which if it buffs, then you've got this guy dealing 10 every turn. It's got the 4/5 that's has the 5/4 that has Wind Fury as well and can randomly attack. Can do the 50% wrong attack.
So that's the route they're going down with the Chamois cards. This is kind of what they're looking at there.
I mean, it's also like you look at this card and then you look at Dust Devil. It's like this appears to be like 10 times the card Dust Devil is.
Yeah, that extra 1 toughness makes all the difference,
and the fact that it's a Mech as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be some synergy going on.
And
there.
Doesn't have Overload actually helps the card.
Yeah, it doesn't have Overload too.
There's times when Overload can be a big downside.
Yeah, it's a really big time.
I think they're trying to make people sort of try to break this card, but what it says to me right now, looking at all these cards that have been spoiled, is that there are a bunch of cards in this format which, if left unchecked, utterly destroy you.
Yeah, I think removal is going to be really paramount. Or the ability to trade as well.
No, the ability to have removal that costs either 1 or 2 mana.
Yeah.
Like, you can't afford to have your first removal spell costing 4 mana, because this guy's been out on the board for 2 turns by then and hit you for 18.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. That's how it feels to me anyway.
He's kicked you in the face for he's put Rock Biter weapon on it and he's beat the living crap out of you.
So it feels to me that the classes that can deal with this on turn 1 or 2 are still going to be fun. Like Priest, I really still like the look of Priest a lot. From the previous video, I like Priest, and nothing I've seen has changed that. I like the fact that some of these mechs you can just buff up with a bit of power and toughness, because that's what Priests do, and Priest can still sort of shock this guy.
Yeah, well, you're
for
still
1 mana.
You're still looking at the +2/+4, aren't you? It's like, man, stick this on.
I think that's. But I also like the 5/5 for 5 that buffs up a mech. Is it?
Yeah.
+4 to another mech and stuff like. So I still feel like Priest is going to have this really strong tempo-based deck from what's been revealed so far.
Yeah, I think Priest is going to be really good. And I think what we got in the comments from last time was sort of, oh great, a priest and hunter metagame. Yeah, so to be honest, I can see it. Hunter's got that really nice, the Gosh Rio. I'm just gonna call it Godzilla. It's like that beast.
Priest though might keep Hunter in check because it's got the ability that counters Hunter's steady shot.
Yeah.
Like Hunters hated coming up against priests because
that was why Priest
couldn't put that pressure on.
That was one of the reasons Priest was so heavily played, wasn't it? Because it was strong against Hunter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It also was strong against a couple of other classes as well, but it was I think it was fairly weak to handlock, if I remember correctly.
Now, Magic the Gathering, we all remember this, that you have aggro decks, mid-range decks, and control decks.
Or, well, if you're talking Magic now, you have mid-range decks, and mid-range decks.
Aggro decks lost to the control decks, but beat the mid-range decks.
Generally, mid-range is one of those weird things where it tries to do everything.
Yeah.
So,
but looking at the stuff that's come out here, it feels like Pally will still be sort of the control decks.
Yeah.
But we're going to get a bunch of people all going mid-range at this point. Like, just trying to go for the value.
Yeah, mid-range is like, it tries to be fast enough to be a threat, but it has enough control to pin back an aggro deck.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the control deck's just I'm going to sit here for as long as it takes and eventually just beat you with better cards. So, you have this sort of weird way the metagame develops where if it does become a control-on-troll meta, then aggro will come in because it'll just be too fast for the dirtly control decks.
I'm not convinced that the aggro decks will be fast enough for the value decks here.
It does seem like there's a lot of new value cards.
In Constructed, so I think it'll just be a case of grinding people down with value.
That's going to take a long time if you're trying to grind to legend and every matchup's 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but again, we'll see how it all develops in that front. But yeah, this was our selection of new cards that we kind of wanted to look at there, and I'm not sure whether I want to open 100 packs or not when the set comes out. I got like 125,000 gold or whatever it is.
Well,
2,500 gold.
Yeah, yeah.
So I can buy like 100 packs and still have enough for crapping out at 25 arenas, right?
Yeah, something like that. Packs are like 100 each, aren't they? But I think... Oh, no, you can't buy groups as with gold, can you? You have to buy them one at a time.
But I might just play a lot of arena sort of quite quickly and just see what I end up opening from that, really. Yeah. I'll have some dust as well, so if there's something particularly...
You've got a load of dust, haven't you, at the moment?
I keep finding legends I want to make for just one deck, so like a bunch of legends I still need. But again, I have no idea what I'm going to end up playing, but I feel my first deck's probably going to be a priest.
Yeah, so I mean, you've got your Sarah and all the rest of them. So.
Yeah, I've generally got the cards that I like for priest, but
you're gonna have to get hold of your
it just looks the most interesting.
Yeah,
I like
would
the
tend
interactions between Shrinkmeister and because it feels very minion heavy as well. So Cabal,
Shadow Priest, and
Shadow Madness and stuff like that. It feels like still shrinking a guy, pinching it with the Shadow Madness, and that guy having Deathrattle and killing it off to one of the other guys, and you getting the Deathrattle minion at the end,
or as you said, doing the old Shrinkmeister Yo-Yo Nick it with Cabal Shadow Priest,
or pinching a guy with Shadow Madness and then playing that other card to transform it into another random guy.
Yeah.
So it feels like there's a sort of fairly... It's mid-rangey, but it's fairly fast as well in that it keeps your opponent's stuff completely clear.
There's a lot of very good interactions, I think.
There's a lot of value in Priest, isn't there? And you can still make that one big threat by giving something +2/+4.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my thoughts. Anyway, I thought it was quite an interesting video, and I think we're all sort of chomping at the bit for these cards to come out,
Yeah,
aren't
it's
we?
like,
It's like
come
we've been
on.
waiting so long. It's like it's been 15 months since I started playing Hearthstone.
That's a long time.
Yeah, because it was September, if you remember, last year when
Yes,
the
yes, I
closed
remember. Yeah.
beta was, and people were paying like, $200 for an account and the codes and things like that.
Yeah, and you just got one. Mice.
hmm Um, so I'm really just in that I just can't play the game until the cards are out.
Yeah.
I look at the existing cards and I go, there's no love for me. I need new things simply because I know they're there.
You
If I
only
didn't know
made
they were
four
there, I could play the game with what's out.
You only made 4 creatures for Pally. I need more love.
Well, we got at least another couple of minions, right? Got
Yeah,
Bot
true.
One.
True. Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, they're
Even
not
Muster for Battle's not technically a
technically a
minion.
minion, but
Yeah,
it's
but
a
we
mi
got
it's minions and a weapon. What more do you want?
yeah, but we got the Scarlet Purifier, so he's up to 6 at the moment.
Yeah, true.
I don't know. Maybe we'll get in a 7th. Who knows?
Who knows?
Anyway, guys. Tell you what, I'm gonna let you close it out for a change.
For a change.
Because
Anyway,
you've been doing some videos on your channel, haven't you?
yeah. I mean, I always have this thing that I think we might want to bring up in a future video is that you're very much aware of the idea that people will defend a certain game to the hilt, whether it's crap or not or anything like that. There are people who still think the Sega Mega Drive was the best console ever, despite the fact Nintendo buried Sega under the sand. And I'm kind of like that with some games, but I'm also the reverse a little bit sometimes with WoW, where it's like, sometimes I do just have this bit in my head where I'm like, I will hate this game at all costs. And it's like, no,
WoW scares you, doesn't it?
it does a little bit, yeah.
It's changed so much, though.
It scares me kind of for a couple of reasons. In terms of, number one, what I've seen it do to people, like in the past. And number two,
Just
how
Ishmael. We're
well,
thinking.
no, no, but it's like, I've seen people who like, they play it for 8, 10, 12 hours a day. Sort of
This
thing.
is
It's,
Ishmael.
that might have been Diablo 2 with it. And the other one, oh, your video's just come on right in time for the video to end.
Oh, fantastic. There we go. How's that? I'm glad I wasn't up to anything suspicious. If I was like, oh, the video switched off, start picking my nose, taking my clothes off for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, the video's nowhere, and then all of a sudden, ping! Maybe it means that like the FBI have been spying on me for the past hour, and they just intercepted the video feed.
It can't be bothered anymore.
Yeah. Oh, okay, he's quitting now, so we can start watching him.
Yeah, fair enough. But it was mainly the fact that I just felt that WoW required this utterly ridiculous amount of grind to even be competitive in it.
And now it's casual friendly.
Yeah.
And everyone hates it for its casualness now.
And whereas in fact, if you were someone who played Star Trek Online, that was for me the most casual friendly MMO.
Mm-hmm.
But they've now gone a lot more grindy, and everyone's gone up, and everyone hates it for the fact it's gone a bit grindy.
Not everyone hates it because
not everyone
most
played
people have ever played it. It's one of those games that has a very fanatical player base.
Yeah.
But outside of that fanatical player base, nobody's heard of the game.
I mean, to be fair, what a lot of people have done have gone, oh, MMO in space, and like that's all they need to know.
And gone and played EVE Online.
Well, that. If you want to talk about grind, if you want to know what grind is, play EVE Online. Holy God.
Anyway, I feel like getting a little bit off.
We're getting a little bit off topic. That's a topic for another time.
But you've been making some of those videos for your channel anyway, haven't you?
But that definitely is a topic for another time. But I will say thank you very much to everyone for watching. Thank you for Ribbo for turning out for our...
we tried to get Craig and Lee, but
Lee's
Lee's got like 4 well, both Craig and Lee have got like 4 alts in World of Warcraft, and you got to farm for all of them every day, do the garrison missions, stuff like that. He's just like, yeah, I gotta do this. I can't hold. Whereas Boomer's too scared to play WoW. So I'm not doing that grind yet.
I'm just waiting for like the whole starting up again and going. Why haven't you got your macros set up properly? Like I don't know.
We're gonna get some boomkin because we did double boomkin, didn't we?
Yeah, we just like starfold. We just starfold and hurricane the whole map, and everyone else is like,
well, didn't it?
Yeah, it did work well, but it was just a case everyone was like, but I want to farm tough. We aggroed everything.
And because Lee, like, if Lee was playing his warrior, so he could have like done a blade storm once everything had come in, that would have been even more.
Yeah, just wipe everything in one. It's like there were mobs on this level. Emphasis were.
But yeah, it didn't happen intentionally. But like every game that we've been playing has just been a Blizzard game. Eh?
And in fact, just going back.
WoW, Hearthstone.
I mean, the next game I wanted to actually do a single LP on was StarCraft, like the original one, not StarCraft 2, the original one.
And of course, we made the Diablo 3 videos. Lee really wants to play
Heroes of Azeroth?
Heroes of the Storm.
Heroes of the Storm, not Heroes of Azeroth.
Well, there is a hero of Azeroth in Heroes of the Storm. There is, I think Tyrion is one of the heroes. I'm not sure. I can't remember. There's definitely some really important pallies in there.
Kerrigan's in it from StarCraft, isn't she, as well? It's like there's a...
it's very cartoony, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It'll be interesting to see how it does, because obviously it's competing with Dota and LoL, isn't it? So
Dota 2.
Dota 2, yeah.
Dota 2, yeah. Lee loves his Dota games. I can't stand them.
Yeah, it's just
because my Twitch reflexes died many years ago, and Lee, he's like 25, 26. He still thinks he's got it. Well, I'm not gonna correct him on that, but sort of 22 is considered veteran in competitive Dota.
And also since the fact that I banned him from drinking fizzy pop now.
He's not twitching like fast reactions because he's so hyper.
Yeah, I mean, this is coming from you as well, who played how much Team Fortress 2?
I look, but purely casually. I deliberately avoided the competitive scene. Though the thing about Team Fortress 2, it is a very strategic game, despite it being a shooter. Like, you've all got your roles and you have to do things correctly or else. Yeah. So there was like...
The sniper really needs Twitch refactors.
At the competitive scene, you see, I played Spy, and Spy was not a competitive class, it was a casual class. So basically, the classes that were good in TF2 for competitive scene, like Soldier, being able to rocket jump or Demo Man, being able to sticky jump across the map, I couldn't do that to a high degree of accuracy, which you absolutely needed to be able to do. Yeah. Like some TF2 competitive games, had a heavy. I can do the heavy.
Yeah.
Heavy I was good at.
Get a medic to follow you around an Uber.
But yeah,
having said that though, from your stuff, the Spy was the best class to troll with for me. I just thought it was fantastic.
I love any class in any game that can troll, but not in Warcraft. I didn't like Rogue because that was just cheap.
Yeah,
I felt Pally was the troll class because you got to. In the original game, because you got to run in there, have huge fights, and then bubble and run away.
Yeah, I mean, my favourite thing that you did on Team Fortress Spy was with the ice knife, where you just ended up with like a wall of your opponent's team next to the teleporter.
Yeah, well, that was the best way of trolling people, as a spy, because you could get into their team, find where their teleport exit was, and the thing is, everyone who comes out of a teleport faces the direction the teleport is faced in.
Yeah.
So you just stand behind it and just kill people instantly. And it got extremely funny when you killed the same person twice.
Yeah.
You went through the teleporter, you killed him, and then he respawned 30 seconds later, came through the teleporter again. You went,
Although for me,
you've not told your mates you're still there, and you still came through and got you again. It's like,
well, the ice knife was the great thing there because he just comes through, sees 3 statues, and just goes, "I'm dead, aren't I?" He goes through. It's like knife.
so yeah, I mean, it wasn't like the best class, but it was the most fun class.
Yeah, it was fun. Anyway, also the video's now got to 500 megs as well. But we will wrap it up there, guys, before we go even further into stories from our long gaming history.
That's fine. We've got millions of these stories, so we've got plenty to last.
We've got plenty to go through.
Videos.
And thank you very much to you guys for watching, and we're definitely looking forward to the Goblins and Gnomes expansion.
And next time, ask about Ishmael's brother and his tanking in Molten Core.
Thanks very much for watching.
He got mind controlled.
Thanks very much for watching, guys. See you next time.
Ta-da.